We are the painters of our world. We are creators.
Welcome to the Educate.Elevate.podcast. I'm your host, Danny Morrison. I'm so happy that you're joining us today. In every episode, we explore topics that are designed to provide you with the tools and information you need to achieve your dreams through a journey that starts at your local California community college. But what if your dream is to attend a historically Black college or university? After all, interest in HBCUs, as they are most commonly referred to, is at an all-time high because of the unique sense of community they provide for Black students of all ages. Or maybe you've never heard of HBCUs before, and you're wondering what they are and how they are relevant to you. Well, let me tell you that there are HBCU campuses throughout the country. Each has a rich history and allows Black students an opportunity to chase their dreams while being surrounded by people with similar life experiences. HBCUs offer a high-quality education experience, combined with unique academic programs and on-campus support and mentorship. Most HBCUs also offer smaller class sizes that make it easy to get to know your classmates and professors, helping you achieve success every step of the way. And after graduation, the alumni network for today's HBCU students reaches coast to coast. There are many reasons why attending at HBCU could be right for you. But if you're like me, the hardest part of chasing your dreams may be knowing where to start. But I have good news for you. Did you know that California community colleges provide students with guaranteed transfer opportunities? And did you know that this includes guaranteed admission to many historically Black colleges and universities as well? The HBCU Guaranteed Transfer Program, offered by California's community colleges, creates a pathway that you can use to get from where you are today to where you want to be in the future. Whether you've always dreamt of going to an HBCU or don't even know what an HBCU is, or if you've always thought college was out of reach, this program is for you. If you attend a California community college and have a GPA of 2.0 or above, you can take advantage of this special program. And don't let money get in the way of chasing your dreams either. This program helps you avoid taking unnecessary courses and shortens the time it takes for you to earn your degree, saving you money along the way. There are also grants, scholarships, and other sources of financial aid available to help you on your journey. But don't just take my word for it. I want you to hear more from our very special guests today.
We are creators.
Our first guest is Dr. Helen Young. Dr. Young has served countless students in the education system for more than 25 years. She's currently the Assistant Project Director for the California Community Colleges Transfer Guarantee to Historically Black Colleges and Universities program. She also co-founded Pipelines to Possibilities, a graduate internship program to prepare HBCU students for careers in the California Community Colleges system. Helen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about why higher education is so important to you.
Gosh, higher education is important to me because I think it has the power to change lives. And so for me, it was a direct impact for myself as a young person growing up in a family of 5 kids where I wasn't always seen or heard. So an education for me was really my way to be myself, to become more of who Helen needed to be. It just began to open up doors and ideas and thoughts and interactions that I never even thought was possible. So I believe that higher ed and education has the power to change lives, not just a single life, but a village, a community, a family, a city, a nation.
So tell me, what are HBCUs and what makes them so unique?
So HBCUs are institutions that were founded before 1964. Mm-hmm. They were founded for the education of formerly enslaved or Black African Americans. So there's this federal, identification of what makes an HBCU an HBCU. What makes them unique is exactly those pieces, that they were founded to educate Black, formerly enslaved African Americans because they had no access to any other institution, right? And so that there's this context of uniqueness that says it was exclusivity that you were founded, right, in, but it was never at the cost of quality. You're talking about those who, began to form this nation as Black African Americans and begin to form what I like to think of is the first Black middle class, the George Washington Carvers, right? The Booker T. Washington. These individuals had an opportunity to be educated in these institutions, then went on to Harvard, to Yale's, right? So I believe that's really what makes it an HBCU unique is that there's this amazing history, right, of how they did, again, so much with so little, right? But what they produced and what they continue to produce, right, in this nation is just, I think, life-changing for so many people.
So what do you think are the biggest advantages of an HBCU?
Well, one of the biggest advantages is size. You're looking at institutions. You might have an institution as large of enrollment as 4,000 or 5,000 students, and that's considered large on an HBCU scale, or small as maybe 400 or 500 students. So think about what that looks like in the classroom. You're talking about really, as I'd like to think about, personalized education, where maybe there's 10, 20, 30 students total in an undergraduate classroom. That's impactful. I think the other thing is this unique relationship between students and faculty. The faculty says, you're mine, and there will be nothing but greatness pouring out of you by the time you leave here, this HBCU. So I think the faculty is really another unique piece. I think another unique thing is that HBCUs pride themselves on internship opportunities and making connections with the real world or the world of work. And so a lot of them ensure that their students have those internship opportunities sometimes in that sophomore, even sometimes freshman year, because it gives them an opportunity to make those connections that often lead to those jobs upon graduation. I think another unique thing about HBCUs is a social culture. Mm-hmm. You talk about Battle of the Bands. You talk about the Divine Nine, which is sororities and fraternities. You're talking about really creating and keeping the Black culture. That's what HBCUs are doing. So I think those are some of the things that make an HBCU really unique, really an advantage for a student to hopefully to take advantage of.
What makes the guaranteed transfer pathway from California's community colleges to HBCUs so valuable?
So the transfer guarantee is a part of an existing transfer pathway program that we started here in the California Community College system 2015, 2016. And it was a pathway that was originally designed to allow students to leave any California community college and go to any of our CSUs with a guarantee. So we said, well, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We'll just take the wheel that already exists. And so now what a student can do at any one of our California community colleges is select an associate's degree for transfer. We like to call them ADTs. That's the term we use. They can select an ADT. They can go to the website for the Chancellor's Office, the I Can Go to College website. They can then look at their HBCU that we've partnered with. They can look at that degree that they're interested in achieving, and they can determine which of our HBCUs is guaranteed admissions for them as a junior with that particular degree. We have worked our behinds off the last 3 years, really working with these HBCUs to begin to do this alignment degree by degree by degree. And so really what it's going to provide for students is this literally pathway. They get on it, take it all the way down, jump off ours, jump on that HBCU, and finish that degree. So students are guaranteed admissions. So it really is, I think, one of the best things that we could have done as a part of this evolution of this transfer pathway.
Mm-hmm. What are the advantages of starting at a California community college and then transferring to an HBCU?
I think at the top of the list is cost.
Yes.
When you think about just the savings that a student and a family, right? Because college is not about just a student, it's about the family, right? So there's a lot of savings and cost, direct cost to the student and the family that I think a student really has to understand. Starting at a California community college, saves you money. But I also believe it begins to allow you to build community. It begins to allow you to build confidence and just confirming what it is you want to do, who you want to be, how you want that to unfold. So I love California community colleges. I'm biased. I just think that they have the ability to allow a student to really flourish without a lot of pressure. So if the student is having some challenges with housing, we're there. If the student's having challenges with transportation, we got them. If the student is having challenges with food, we got you. So there's this sense of community in a community college that we tend to try to wrap our arms around around our students that gives them that opportunity. So if you're building the student in that first 2 to 3 years at a California community college, what you are then sending on to that HBCU is a confident, ready, fully prepared human being, right, to be successful at that next level. What we do for students, it can't be duplicated. You can't argue the fact. When you look at the data, we do a damn good job.
If someone is interested in transferring from a California community college to an HBCU, how do they get started?
Great question, Danny. One of the first things we want them to do, of course, is come to the college and enroll. Find one of our local community colleges, complete the enrollment process, and then sit down with the counselor. Have a conversation about your goals, your dreams, what it is you're trying to do. Search out maybe some community programs such as Emoja or Amend or Puente, right? Whatever it is that's going to support you academically, I encourage you to find your community within the community college. Once you decide on what those HBCUs might be and that degree that's in alignment with that HBCU, then what you want to do is start planning courses, right? Having a conversation about your goals and your dreams. Do that as often as you can, right? That allows you to continue the process. But checking in with the counselor every semester, that's where the ball begins. So in addition to doing the things physically on our campuses at any of our California community colleges, please make sure that you also are visiting the I Can Go to College website. It has oodles of resources to begin that search process. So let's say physically you can't get to a campus, you can start your process and your research right there. But that is a great place to start because we talk about all kinds of things, including transfer, but we talk about programs that you may be interested in. How do you get started with financial aid, right? So all of these pieces are definitely available. And I would say, show yourself even a little savvy. Do that first before you come to our campuses. Mm-hmm. So when you walk in, you can say, oh, by the way, I went to the I Can Go to College website and I found thus, and thus, and thus. Trust me, if you walked into my office as a counselor and you did that, I would say, I'm impressed. Okay, let's sit down and let's get some work done. And the other thing I want to remind folks of is that HBCUs is not just about Black students. HBCUs have always been a haven for students of all races, of all creeds, right? HBCUs were some of the first institutions that Jewish women were allowed to attend. And so just really kind of making sure people understand that the nature of HBCUs have always been about diversity, have always been about inclusion, right? And so we want to make sure that everybody understands it's a welcoming environment. It's a place where you can get a quality education, where your ideas and your thoughts and your heart is welcomed. It's welcomed.
Helen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We are creators. We decide what
My next
goes.
guest is Starquita Washington. Starquita is a graduate of LA Southwest College, a California community college. After graduation from Southwest, she took advantage of the Guaranteed Transfer Program and went to Bethune-Cookman University, an HBCU in Daytona Beach, Florida. And she's here to tell you all about her journey. Starquita, it is a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's take you back to 2008. You graduated high school that year. What did you think was next for you at that time?
I honestly didn't have a clue what was next. I know I wanted to go to college, but I was just an 18-year-old, just lost. It was like, I just want to just graduate and just work.
You actually waited a little longer to start your college experience. Tell us about that.
So I waited, like I just wanted to work, but then looking at my friends graduate, and I'm like, 4 years passed already, 3 years passed. So I'm like, Starquita, you got to get up and go to school. You got to, high school diploma, it's okay, but you got to do something more. So then that's when I was like, I'm going to just start off small. I was like, I'm going to just get an AA degree. But once you in school, it's that adrenaline. Like, you just keep learning and learning, and you just can't stop. So that's what it is now, and I just want to keep going.
Tell me about your experience at LA Southwest College. What was it like?
Great. It was great. At first, I was a little bit nervous because of the age that I was at the time, but I went to the counselor, and he just helped me get my classes, and it made it very smooth, and it was actually really easy for me.
So how did community college at LA Southwest prepare you for going to an HBCU?
It's made it more easier because just trying to step into a 4-year college, I wouldn't think I would have done it because I would have been confused and lost. But at community college, they actually take their time with you, and they set out a goal. You have it's a pathway. So you start till it tells you where do you want to go, because at a community college, you have one major, and then what if you're not interested in that? So you can always change. So by them taking your time, and it's actually very focused, so it kind of helped for 2 years instead of going straight to a 4-year.
Now, there are a lot of advantages to going to an HBCU, and I heard one of them is class size. Did you find that to be true at Bethune-Cookman?
Yes, the class sizes are really small, which is a good thing because you have that one-on-one with the students as well and with your teachers. So as opposed to being in a larger, you don't get your question asked, and they take the time with you, because the average classroom size is probably 40, 30, but theirs probably was like 15 or 20. So it was good.
So I'm assuming there may have been some cost savings by going to a community college prior to going to an HBCU, right?
Definitely. Like I said, you do your research, and it helps you, because if you're going, it ties down to how much cost is, and it tells you from a community college, which schools you want to go to, what HBCUs you want to go to. So they help you break down everything. So that actually helps you as well.
Now, you're the first in your family to graduate from college. How did your family respond to your higher education journey?
They were excited. They were kind of nervous. I just went to school, so they were just like, okay, you're just going to go to school. And I'm like, yeah. So my grandpa, which is my biggest inspiration. So my grandpa recently passed away Christmas Eve. He was 112. So
Wait, what?
He was 112.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So he inspired me a lot to continue to go to school. So I was like, well, I have no kids, but I can give you a degree. So my birthday gift to him was to give him a degree.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's interested in attending college, whether starting at a community college or going to an HBCU?
I encourage everybody to go to college, no matter how old, what age. It's never too late to go back. And I speak for myself because it took me a long time, but I'm here now. I graduated. I'm still going no matter what.
Now, you and I are having a conversation prior to the interview about you growing up in South Central. There's someone watching right now potentially from that area or an area like that. What would you say to that person that believes that they can't do what you're now doing?
Take the vocabulary I can't, first of all, out their mouth and say I can and I will go, because you don't want to have other people in your ear. And I think I was that person. Oh, school is not for me. School is a scam. So you'll often hear that a lot. But I would just say follow your own path, and you can be greater than them, because when I look back at it, I still know some people that's still in stage 1 and I'm in stage 5. So I would just say just get up and go, and, you're going to get made fun of. They're going to talk about you, but it's just like you making your own pathway. So it's your future, not theirs.
Thank you so much for your story, for your patience, and your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are creators. We decide what
And now it's time for another live musical performance on the Educate.Elevate.podcast. And this gentleman has long prided himself on using his pen and his guitar to motivate people through his music. Raised in the church with harmonious roots dug deep into the world of funk, R&B, soul, rock, grunge, hip-hop, jazz, classic roots reggae, and country, he's always been known to find the right words at exactly the right time. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Mr. Marlon Mackey.
The song's called Sleepless. I've been avoiding dreams from fear of waking up. That's why I stay awake so long. It's not because of me that I've been losing sleep. I'm just a dreamer all day long. I'd rather spend my time in a world I can change, leave this dream behind. Tell Mr. Sandman I'm not ready to fall asleep until the Reaper Man has come. It's not unusual to want to stay awake until the morning time has come. I'd rather spend my time in a world I can change, leave this dream behind. Wake up.
Thanks to our guests, Dr. Helen Young and Starquita Washington, for spending their time and sharing their stories with our community. It is so important that we hear these incredible stories of inspiration and hope, because so many of us have grown up thinking that higher education was out of reach, and going to an HBCU was impossible. But clearly, not only is it possible, the opportunity is right here in front of you. And as we heard today, it's never too late. You just have to know where to start. If you want to learn more about California Community College's Guaranteed Transfer Program to HBCUs and other colleges and universities as well, you need to check out ICanGoToCollege.com. From there, click on Black and African American Student Success and you'll get a ton of great info on the Guaranteed Transfer Program, financial aid opportunities, additional support services, and more. That's ICanGoToCollege.com. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember that when you know where to start, nothing is impossible, because to educate is to elevate.
We are the painters of our world.